Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys can hear me. I know you guys can see me. I have the close clam on. How you doing, guys? If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace. And I know you guys missed me in the morning because I missed you guys. I was busy. But I'm here today. I want to talk about it. Now, can I get an 8 ball? Can I get an 8 ball? Maybe it's just because we pay attention to context clues around here, and some of the things that happen. It seems that I'm just gonna give myself the 8 ball. I seem to bring it up. So we have Trump talking possibly, or just throwing it in the air, the Insurrection Act. But yeah, we're gonna go into that a little bit. We're also gonna talk about the unqualified ICE agents, not only by action but by way of hiring process, and some other things we want to show you. What else? We have the Black Panthers are back. Okay. On the not only did we have the untimely death of Miss Nicole. Okay, good. And that has caused a national uproar. But around the same time, there was an untimely death of Mr. Keith Porter. Just want to make sure I say his last name right. Mr. Keith Porter was unalive on New Year's, allegedly related to him shooting off gunfires in the air, also known as celebratory or celebrating New Year's gunshots. So we're going to talk about that, and I think that is one of the reasons why the Panthers are back. Or matter of fact, they've been out. They've been there, but I think they on the streets right now. So let's watch this real quick. We're gonna see if you see this young lady right here. See this lady right here? I think she infiltrated ICE. If you have not seen this clip, shout out to Democracy Now! We're gonna be watching something from them now, and then when we get into the Keith Porter information, we're gonna look at their particular live that they did with the mother on it. But this lady right here, she actually infiltrated ICE. Let's watch her.
A few weeks later, I got a message from LabCorp saying that ICE wanted me to do a drug
Hold on,
test.
let's start this again. This just started too fast. She jumped.
On the spot hiring to where you could, in fact, walk out with your $50,000 bonus that day.
There we
possibly.
go.
I went in. I handed in my resume, which was I did a skills-based resume. I'm a veteran. I served 2 tours in Afghanistan. So on the surface, the resume looked pretty good. Had a very brief interview, took all of 6 minutes. They didn't ask very many questions. And then I left, assuming I would never hear back, because I'm a very Googleable person. I have an unusual name. I'm the only Laura to on the internet. And I make no secret of how I feel about ICE and Trump and all of it. So I was not expecting several days later to receive a tentative offer. I missed it in my inbox and it sunk to the bottom, which means that I never filled out the paperwork they requested. I never accepted the tentative offer. I never filled out my background check paperwork. I never signed the affidavit saying I committed no domestic violence crimes, none of it. A few weeks later, I got a message from LabCorp saying that ICE wanted me to do a drug test, and I went ahead and did that. I was pretty sure I wouldn't pass. I'd partaken in legal cannabis 6 days before the test.
Evening, everyone.
Why not waste some of their money, right? And then 9 days after that, I decided I wanted to, I was just curious, had they processed the drug test yet? So I logged onto the ICE hiring portal, and what I found was that not only did the drug test not seem to be relevant, I was listed as having joined ICE as of 3 days earlier.
Wait, did y'all hear everything she said? She admitted to actually smoking or using marijuana before taking the drug test. Knowingly, unknowingly, purposely, or unpurposely. Went to the drug test, just went to look and see what happened because she was just, just trying stuff. And they already had her listed as an ICE agent. And she's a reporter. So she went there to be a reporter for ICE. That's first and foremost. That's the miscategorizing the job position for me. You go in there to be a reporter, and then they have you as a full-blown ICE agent. And to the fact that you didn't even fill out the application properly, didn't pass the drug test, and now let's finish listening to her.
listed that I had accepted the offer. They had offered me a final position as a deportation officer. My background check was listed as completed 3 days in the future from when I was looking at it. So it seems like the answer to the question, who are they hiring, is they don't know. I mean, it's very funny that they hired a lefty journalist with a profile on Antifa Watch. That's hilarious. But what's not funny is they didn't make me sign a domestic violence waiver. So how many people with domestic violence convictions are running around with guns in our cities terrorizing people? How many people who have been committed of sex crimes or crimes against children are in charge of detention centers where there's no oversight, where people won't be missed and won't be believed? The agent was very keen on letting me know that I wouldn't be given a badge and a gun right away. I wouldn't be out in the street messing people up. I would probably have to push paperwork for about 6 months before I got there. And when I expressed that was fine with me, with my analyst background, he actually, the atmosphere changed. He was like, no, listen, we want everyone on the street with guns eventually.
What? Do you hear this? Do you hear this, guys? Let me know if you can hear everything loudly and clearly. I've been hesitant to go live because my ears is plugged. So I'm just being honest, guys. Laugh at me now, but we go people. Just let me know if you can hear me. But we're gonna get to the sexual assault part too as well, because I've been kind of giving y'all a heads up, as well as other content creators showing you, as we showed you with the last clip that took place in Minneapolis, I do apologize. Oh, he has his eyes on another location, guys. We're going to get into that. Where they took the young lady who was allegedly a migrant under arrest into the porta potty. Don't forget about that. I haven't seen no one, that support Mega coming under the video to justify that. So, with that being said, things are still getting kind of ugly. And thank you so much, Highly Favored, for being here. I appreciate you. I love you, girl. I love you. My ears is plugged. Let's watch what the ICE agent is saying, because now we're seeing the outcome, or a little doxing of their hiring process. As we already know, and we can tell that they're not qualified. These people are not trained, and they're just bringing people in. But listen what this guy say. Listen to what this guy has to say.
How long did you go to school for that? I went to high school. I make money.
Now, can you hear this, guys? Let's listen to this again.
He is.
I love my job, thank you.
You love your job?
I can't believe I get paid for this.
Really?
I do this for free.
Really, I get $200K. I'm a physician assistant.
How long did you go to school for that?
Over 7 years.
I went to high school. I make money.
You should be ashamed of yourself, man.
This guy has a high school diploma, and he's literally making more than probably half of us on this live just by going around kicking our ass, okay? Yeah, this is how it's coming out. But let's not forget, because I want to, if you don't know what's going on as well, because there's so many developments. So here, you know what we do? We do a comprehensive live. We talk about it from a non-biased perspective, and we kind of put everything into like a timeline. And you guys remember that I did tell you guys that it looks like Trump is trying to, go towards the Insurrection Act. And now y'all hearing that coming out in the news. It's a little bit crazy, but I did wanted to get to this real quick. We already know that the budget has increased. The last time I told you for ICE, from 800 billion to 117 billion, and until they change it on the record, it looks like he's trying to put another $100 billion in recruitment. Okay, recruitment, where they're just hiring anybody to come in these positions and allegedly go door to door. This is where we're going to have a problem. This is where we're going to definitely have a problem. But most recently, as of July, this is where the people are getting things, getting back at them. It's a little bit funny. Yes, as of July, a few weeks ago or a few days ago, a massive data leak has exposed the personal information of thousands of ICE immigration agents. Dun, 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 dun. So according to the report on January 14th and 15th, so this is the last 24 hours, let me correct that, 24 to 48 hours, the website named LASHLAYS ran, can we look that, is that up? Hold on, let's pull that up. Hold on 1 second. Let me, while I'm up here, let's see if it's up here. I might get in trouble, y'all. I'm about to get, oh snap, y'all. I ain't even look. I didn't even know they had this. I thought they was just. I just thought they were just putting them up there on the TikTok. Check it out. If y'all don't know, this is the website. Ooh, okay. All ICE agents. Oh man, this is about to get ugly, y'all. We just gonna look at one, and I'm not gonna get myself in trouble. I just literally is the first time I got on this website, and this is for information and educational purposes only. Okay. So this is the website that they're talking about that is doxing the ICE agents. I'm gonna go through this myself when I get off a line, guys, and see what it has entail. I don't want to get myself in too much trouble because I have said, and I don't want to eight ball, that they're literally coming after Americans as well and anyone who talks against ICE. That's why the people who support this, that's what I said, you are setting up an America that you won't have control over. So it is being known that Kristi Noem is going out right now and saying American citizens, as what we stated months ago, and people laughed at me. They laughed at me because I was like, black people, you're going to have your paperwork. And I was just talking to my people. I said, you got to have your paperwork because it looked like they're going to come for us. They're going, and they like, no, I can't get deported. Da, da, da. At the end of the day, right now, the way he's doing stuff, you may get deported illegally. But Kristi Noem has come out. It just hurts for me to say her name. And basically said directly, American citizens, have your identification ready. Have your identification ready so we can know, so you can show us that you are American citizens. And even when you do show us you're American citizens, the ICE agent is still going to disregard your ass and beat you and bring you in and process you to make sure that we have 100 people processed. Allegedly, I just added that,
Processing on the spot hiring to where you could, in fact, walk out with your $50,000 bonus that day, possibly. I went in.
$50,000 bonus. Okay, so let's keep it moving. I just want you guys to see what we're dealing with. Also, we got a little bit of happy news, just a little thumbs up for the people who, not happy with what they see. Now, Dag, I wish I had the clip. But, oh, man, why are they going to do that to me? That was Trump. Trump is mad at me. Now, Trump ended up going on, look at that. It had jumped right off of my screen. There was a gentleman that worked at an auto dealer that was taking Trump on a tour. And one of the co-workers there had basically said, you a pedo. You're a pedo. And Trump got mad, and I don't have the clip, but Trump did get mad and flipped him the bird and said, F you. Okay, this is our president. Y'all want to see the clip? Do y'all want to see the clip? Let me see, can I find the clip real quick? Let me see. Detroit auto worker. Shout out to the Detroit auto worker, wherever he was at, that flipped Trump the bird, and now he got $400,000 in donation. I just want to show y'all the video of your king and how he unravels when his ass gets exposed. Let's watch this real quick. Because he's doing all of this, right? Oh, no, CNN, don't play with me. Let's see if this don't play. Let's watch this. What you got going on, CNN? Give me 1 second and see if this gonna play real quick. Look at him looking out on what the side look. Give me 1 second. Thank you guys for being here with me. You know what I do. I'm usually here in the morning. My name is Miss Grace. I couldn't be here this morning because I was studying, guys. Pray for me. I got 30 hours of work to do, and I'm gonna get them done. But I said I had to do this. I had to come. Let me see. Here we go. Please show Trump.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can believe it.
Acting like a damn fool. Our representation of the great old America, the great white hype.
Decided it. What I know is that President Trump did literally what I believe he's been doing figuratively.
No, that's at another place. Here we go. They like, get your clips together. There we go, TMZ.
A U.S. president, a factory floor in Detroit, and a moment now spreading fast across America's political divide. Donald Trump is under fire and fiercely defended by the White House after aiming an obscene gesture and mouthing an expletive at a heckler during a visit to a Ford factory. Footage published by TMZ shows Trump responding to a man shouting from a distance inside the factory. Subtitles on the clip suggest the heckler called Trump a pedophile protector. From afar, the president appears to speak back, allegedly mouthing an expletive before raising his middle finger in the heckler's direction. The moment lasts just seconds, but its political aftershocks are still unfolding. The White House quickly closed ranks. In an email to Reuters, officials said, quote, "A lunatic was wildly screaming expletives in a complete fit of rage, and the president gave an appropriate and unambiguous response," end quote. That phrase, appropriate response, is now at the heart of the controversy. The incident took place during Trump's appearance at a Ford factory in Detroit, ahead of a speech to the Detroit Economic Club. The president was there to showcase American manufacturing and jobs, a key pillar of his second-term economic pitch. But inside the plant, the focus briefly shifted from production lines to political lines. The man who shouted at Trump has since been suspended, according to the United Auto Workers, which confirmed the action to several media outlets.
And as you see, he got $400,000, a little bit more than that ICE agent. And do correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not perfect, guys. Sometimes I go up here and I'm literally, in the midst of doing a lot of stuff. I'm here to communicate with people who have critical thinking skills, who like to go over things from different perspectives, and who is non-biased, okay? So if I said manufacturer, or I said at the auto dealer, whatever it is, somebody flipped his ass the bird, and he deserved it. And that auto worker, shout out to the people who are really supportive, gave him what he deserved, some help, okay? GoFundMe. So and when I get his GoFundMe, I'll put it under there, as well as Mr. Keith Porter's GoFundMe. But let's get to some serious allegations again. I do want to bring some more facts to what I was saying. Allegedly, they said it was only 43 alleged cases of sexual abuse or assault going on at ICE facilities. But we're just going to try to show you one by one as they come up what's going on.
56-year-old David Corbell pleaded guilty to one count of abuse of a person in federal custody. Prosecutors say Corbell began a personal relationship with a Nicaraguan detainee and had with the detainee multiple times while she was under his authority. Corbell could face up to 15 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000. Knew it for a former detention officer at the South Louisiana ICE Processing Center.
Right. So tell me what you think about that. That's what I asked. Is that not facts enough? Can someone tell me what they think about that? And I don't think it was consensual. I don't think it was consensual. Plain and simple. So I don't want people to say, oh, yeah, it was consensual, because no. The statistics that we were looking at, according to my little research, there are children and pregnant women that are at the most risk in these ICE facilities, okay? Because we have people with barely high school diplomas, no training, making $200,000 on power trips in there. Now, Ms. Noam said she spoke to Trump about invoking Insurrection Act. And let's see what they have to say about that, because she's saying, oh, it just depends on how Trump feels instead of the actual law.
Of an ICE agent. U.S. officials tell CBS News a Venezuelan migrant was shot in the leg just last night. They say the shooting happened when some men attacked a federal immigration officer during an arrest operation. Now,
hold on, let's get to know him.
Are expected to be okay, but tensions.
That was what we went over before, where the guy got shot in the leg. Shout out to Jolly Good Ginger again. I think he did a great job. I'm just going to let y'all know that broadcast that we did yesterday morning, I'm going to be honest, it was a little bit rough for me because it was a lot of but that was the raw footage, and he was one of the first few that reported that someone got shot down there in the leg. So shout out to him, because they got boots on the ground. Let me know if you guys can hear it, because my ears plugged.
Violation of the law in many places. I discussed with the president this morning several things that we are dealing with under the department and different operations. We did discuss the Insurrection Act. He certainly has the constitutional authority to utilize that. My hope is that this leadership team in Minnesota will start to work with us to get criminals off the streets. Remember, we are there in surge operations because of the largest fraud scheme in American history. We had people stealing from taxpayers stealing funds away from the most vulnerable individuals in this country, people who needed mental health services, developmental services, autism, daycare. Instead, individuals came in, much from the Somalian community, and stole dollars from those people who needed it and put it in their own pockets.
Oh,
and enriched
please.
themselves. Did it right under Governor Walz's nose. And we believe that he didn't just know about it, that he may be complicit in it as well.
Madam Secretary. All right, let's go on the ground.
Where's about the Insurrection Act?
On the line on that.
Hold on. Well, if y'all didn't hear it, if she didn't mention it because my ear's a little plugged, that's what she was supposed to be talking about. Basically, she said it's up to Trump to make the decision. But as you know, and I want you guys to be able to stand your ground, okay, let's get into it. The president can only act. Yes, we're going to make it a learning session just like in the morning. Don't forget, because Trump can't do anything that he wants to do. There we go. Look, let's listen to the Secretary of State as I was just about to give y'all a learning lesson. I think I got a short one from her too. Let's see what she's saying. Hold on.
I'm wondering what his tipping point is. What would it take for him to vote the Insurrection Act? Look, that's only a question Franklin Reagan, the president, can answer. But the Insurrection Act is a tool at the president's disposal. As you know, it has been used sparingly, but it has been used by previous presidents in American history. And I think the president's True Social post spoke very loud and clear to Democrats across this country, elected officials who are using their platforms to encourage violence.
Do you hear this?
Against federal law enforcement officers who are encouraging left-wing agitators to unlawfully obstruct legitimate law enforcement operations. And if you talk to any law enforcement officer, no matter what level they work at, they want to be working with their counterparts, whether that's at the federal level or at the federal authorities wanting to work with their counterparts at the state and local level. And it's truly shameful that now for more than a year, you've had elected Democrat governors and mayors who have basically held their state and local law enforcement hostage and told them, you cannot cooperate with federal law enforcement. Why? They cooperated under the Biden administration. It's because these Democrats are deranged in their hatred for President Trump, and they are holding their state and local law enforcement.
Now, this is one thing that I want you guys to listen to. She said something about people who are supporting people who are doxing us. These
to unlawfully obstruct legitimate law enforcement operations. Left-wing agitators to across this country, elected officials who are using their platforms to encourage violence against federal law enforcement officers, who are encouraging left-wing agitators to unlawfully obstruct.
And we're going to stop right here because that's something that I wanted you guys to really hear. That's why I'm a little funny about what I say, and I do more demonstrating of what the other people are saying instead of me being stupid, saying a whole bunch of dumb stuff. I tell you guys who come here, you can be free to speak. We ask you to be respectful, but then don't incriminate yourself, because the law that your favorite guy is pushing, he's pushing it to the point that even the people who are typing in here, when you're saying things towards ICE and Trump, they're monitoring it, and it's dead serious. That's why I say learn the law, pay attention to what's going on, and be mindful. So just listen to the verbiage that she's starting to use, because I promise you, you're going to 8-ball me on this one. They're going to be coming after the content creators, not only the ones that's just exposing them. That's why I said, let me take that off real quick. Y'all see the name of the website. I may not go and show y'all all of it, but this is how it's going to get started, to start putting us into those fill up them jails that they done made. And I'm going to stop right there, because just is the beginning of my 8-ball. Because that particular part is what I wanted to highlight. Because when I heard it, it rang bells to me like, okay, maybe I should stop talking about this ICE stuff, because they're going to just say anybody. But I'm not going to stop talking about this ICE stuff regardless. But you're just going to have to be mindful. I'm just giving you a heads up. So, this is another broadcast, just trying to hear from different perspective. Again, the reason why we listen to the news from different perspective, different news broadcasts, because you hear different stuff. So we're going to listen to what AP is talking about, this Insurrection Act possibly being pushed by Trump. They're just throwing it in the air right now. They're just throwing it in the air. And the only reason why I feel like it can possibly happen, I'm honestly saying it can possibly happen, is because of this. So the last video, I was sounding like a goody goody. Like, oh, you shouldn't do that, and maybe you should go about it another way, because you're feeding the beast ammunition to create laws against us. You have to play chess, not checkers. This is room for, how we say, the infiltrators to come in, the people who was burning flags in the middle of these protests. That wasn't the protesters. I truly believe that that was not the protesters. I believe that these are people who are called anarchists, people who are paid by the government, that come in to make things worse, have the news right there. So when it's time to push these laws, they're going to push the laws. And that's what you guys are not seeing. And I hope you guys are getting out of your emotions and starting to see the clear picture.
Smoke filled the streets Wednesday night near the site of the latest shooting in Minneapolis, as federal officers fired tear gas into a small crowd. Protesters responded by throwing rocks and shooting fireworks. A federal immigration officer had shot and wounded a Minneapolis man who had attacked him with a shovel and broom handle.
You see?
I urge anyone that is at the scene.
Same thing. And that's what I'm saying. Us as protesters, and I'm saying us as American citizens, I'm not out there with you. You shouldn't be out there hitting nobody with no damn brooms, no shovels, throwing firecrackers at the officers. You really should be protecting your home, you know, protecting your neighborhood. I hope I have the clip, but there's a clip going. I had posted it on Facebook, and then my mom sent it to me, and I was like, y'all, I just was looking at that. Literally, the Mexican people, Spanish people, whoever they are, when them boys come into the neighborhoods, they set off their alarms. They're not out there protesting. They're not out there trying to be in the middle of the nonsense. You got to think. So when they set off the alarms, all of the neighbors are starting to look, and you can see the ICE agents. If I've got that clip, I'm going to put it in our reels. Now, let's just listen to Bavino actually set up, chaos. This is what he's doing.
As you watch it, the general orders all the way to the top.
Orders coming straight from the top. Doesn't matter if the orders come from the president himself. You have federal immunity. You do not have absolute immunity. If you don't know the difference, Google it. Under federal immunity, you can be prosecuted for violating our Fourth Amendment rights. And guess who is protected under the Fourth Amendment along with U.S. citizens, non-U.S. citizens, undocumented migrants? That's right. So for all of these incidents that we're seeing on video, you can expect to be prosecuted.
At the Hague Convention.
Not now. Guess what? The statute of limitations is 5 years. We know this president will not be prosecuting ICE agents, but the next administration will.
Yeah,
they will.
You will. Hold on, y'all.
They will be working with our state and local officials to prosecute you for the crimes that you're committing, violating our Fourth Amendment rights. So, being willfully ignorant is cute and all when you're trolling, but when you're in court fighting to stay out of prison, it's going to be a lot more fun.
Just like, let's say this too. I want to talk about the January 6th, because that is the same type of example. Because these January 6th, they were prosecuted by the next administration and then allegedly let go by Trump. If you see the outcome of those January 6th, a lot of them are rearrested again, dealt with child pedophilia, or dead. Okay, so the outcome was not really good and plenty when it comes to the people who thought that they were going to be benefiting from this type of chaos, and that's what's going on. And again, I have to remind you guys, as I look, and I was looking at it again at this memorial I have with my uncle. He was a federal agent. These guys are suffering from mental issues. They're saying that people who are signing up are afraid to come out. One, because they're not trained, and two, they are going through things with their family. Their families are turning on them. Oh yeah, go watch the TikToks. But I saw someone in the comments said that they only could invoke the Insurrection Act if assisted. It says can't be enacted unless the state officials ask for assistance from the feds. Thank you, War Garter. Now, it's three ways. That's what I wanted to get at. The act can be invoked in three main situations, not just that way. At the request of the state legislator or governor to bring or suppress the insurrection. So if they don't want it, you're supposed to stop. Or if they want it, to enforce federal laws when unlawful obstruction combining with rebellion. You hear the words obstruction, obstruction, obstruction. These people are obstructing. You see, you got to listen to the words. So it's more than one way. That's why I said can invoke this because of the word salad that he's using, the imagery that's out right now, and the people's response. So it says, and to protect the constitutional right when the state's authority cannot. So they will do it to the point that the state has to take them to court and they'll have to prove, like they've been doing with sending the border patrol and sending the National Guards in and the state suing them to get them out. You see what Trump will do. He don't care. He's going to just invoke it, and then everybody has to sue, use funds, resources, and everything just to sue. So it's three ways, and thank you for being in the comments and understanding how this actually can happen. And when I was bringing it up before, nobody was really paying no mind because it wasn't that bad, but it's pretty bad. I do have one of the doxing videos of the ICE officer, but because I pre-warned myself, I said, let me just move on to the next one, because I really have this bad feeling about this. They're going to come to anybody's house indiscriminately. That's just going to be it. I'm not saying they're going to come for me directly, but I just feel like you're going to see a lot of big content creators and people who've been, exposing stuff definitely come and tell you, like, guess what I got to call? And guess what? Yeah, because they found lists inside of these officers' cars. They say government officials and other people, but I think targeted individuals could have been on those lists as well. Okay, so with that goes to say, let's move on to our next part of this broadcast. Now, this hasn't been talked about a lot, but we're going to still push it because I don't know if the black community, feel the way because Mr. Keith, who got shot by the officer who was not on duty, the ICE officer, was actually shooting the gun in the air. Okay, because when I was looking at this, I was like, yeah, it is kind of funny because he was shooting the gun in the air. But no, I'm going to have the same energy for Keith that you guys have for Miss Good, and we have for Miss Good, regardless of what direction she was pointing, and if she was there to block them or not, she wasn't supposed to die. And the same thing with Mr. Keith. Regardless if he wasn't supposed to be shooting guns in the air on New Year's like most country people do, and people do that I don't like because they do it up here in Georgia. That's where I heard it most, up here. And I was like, damn, what the fuck is going on here? But at the end of the day, nobody deserves to die. So, off-duty officer allegedly shoots and kills man firing gun outside of the apartment complex. So this is what we're going to look at again, and then we're going to get into how the Black Panthers are coming out. The Black Panthers saying, listen, we don't have time to play any games with no one. They're not coming out protesting. They're coming to the neighborhoods that their branches are at and protecting them. And that's just the way it is right now. I just gonna have to keep it real. And I have want the other nation, black people, moving a little bit different. We're not here to play no more. We're not here to be in the middle of chaos to set us up like they've been doing, like they setting y'all up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Chill. Don't go out there protest so much. You now got their information. Start moving a little different. Send letters. I don't know. Whatever you need to do. Stay from outside right now because you're giving Trump ammunition to do what he has to do. But let's just talk about this story. An off-duty immigration custom officer allegedly shot and killed an unarmed man outside of the federal agent Los Angeles apartment complex. So it was his complex, the young agent, according to the Department of Homeland Security. It says the shooting occurred on New Year's Eve according to DHS. I'm trying to stop these pop-ups. That's why I'm not showing you guys, because I still didn't download my pop-up blocker. The off-duty ICE officer and the removal officer was in the apartment. So it said there was a removal officer and an off-duty ICE officer was in the apartment. Now, I'm reading this because we're trying to get some details because I'm not really totally understanding what's going on because people haven't been talking about it. So we're going to break this down a little bit slowly so we can understand, because I want you guys to say his name too. Keith Porter. When he heard what he suspected was multiple gunshots at the approximate time of 10:45 p.m. Okay, so it was a little bit before New Year's on that Wednesday. DHS spokesman spoke, giving the statement. Okay, so as the suspect gunfire grew louder, the officer went outside with his ICE authorized firearm and encountered the man, armed with what he appeared as a long rifle. It says upon rounding the corner of the building. So upon rounding the corner, they saying of the building in the apartment complex, according to McCollin, after the ICE officer identified himself as law enforcement. So as he went around the corner, he said, I'm law enforcement. I'm reading this like this so we can make it make sense, because they're not going to tell the full story and the family is asking what happened. So we know that allegedly he went around the corner and he identified himself at the same time. And that's, for me, very important, because if someone comes around the corner with a gun and one person has a gun and they don't look like an officer, it's going to look like a gun battle. Does that make sense? So after the ICE officer identified himself as law enforcement, the individual allegedly pointed his firearm at the officer and did not put the gun down when he ordered from the calling. So this is what I'm reading right here, guys. But the pop-up blocker was like coming up, so that's why y'all just staring at me. So this is what we're hearing. Which I find is a problem. When the subject refused to comply, the officer fired defensively with his service weapon at the subject to disarm him, McCollin said. The subject fired at least 3 rounds at the officer. So there was a gunfight, obviously, and this is what I was saying. I was like, wait, if someone come around the corner and they're not identified, and one person has a gun and the other person has a gun, obviously it's going to turn into a gunfight. So I'm thinking, in my opinion, this officer may have not identified himself. The ICE officer then went back to his apartment to retrieve his ICE-issued body armor to better protect himself against the rifles around. What? And reported the shooting to the Los Angeles Police Department, according to McCollin, okay? It says when LAPD officers arrived, they found the shot individual, who was pronounced unalive at the scene. McCollin noted that ICE officers were uninjured, she said. Okay, so the reason why, like I said, I wanted to read that so slow, because I knew it was going to be something that just was not going to make sense. So what I am thinking, that within this situation, if it's any cameras, he probably still won't even be able to hear it, but I do believe that the officer may have not identified himself in this particular situation. Now, this is the family member of Mr. Keith Porter that was just on Democracy Now! We're going to just watch a little clip of it real quick and listen to what she has to say.
Was celebrating in his own home, and like thousands around the country, we understand that he may have stepped outside of his home and fired a celebratory shot in the air, which many, many people do, and which is widely acknowledged by city officials. His apartment complex is fairly large, and an ICE agent lived in that complex who went inside, put on his tactical gear, came back outside, and shot Keith Porter dead in front of his own home. The family has been told nothing. There's not been a word uttered by the mayor of the city. Almost no elected official here has said anything. We know that we've been demanding the name of the ICE agent who killed Keith Porter. We've gotten nothing. We've demanded an arrest and arrest.
Okay, so wait, let's get to your comments real quick, because I see somebody in here. Okay, he was like, I was very respectful until I found out she was a Hebrew Israelite and everything like that. Okay, let's clarify that. First and foremost, I am a Hebrew. I'm from the bloodline of Isaac, Jacob, and Abraham by blood and DNA. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite. That is an oxymoron, just as they call you African American, which is an oxymoron. That is not our name. Now, secondly, I don't subscribe to what you may think a Hebrew Israelite is. I'm a Hebrew woman that practiced by the book. and I live by love. And I do understand the teachings of my people in the book, because at the end they're going to have to cleave to Judah, Levi, and all of the Hebrews as we pray for God to protect us. That's just what it says at the end of the book. That's when Jesus come down, and that's what makes us a little bit different. But whatever you feel towards them, leave that at the door and treat me like Miss Grace, okay? Because I study by myself, I live by myself, and I practice by myself. So don't feel any way, because here what I try to do is explain to you guys the gang mentality sucks. I don't have it, and I don't want you to bring that over here. So I had to highlight that, because first and foremost, it's not easy for me to come out and say I'm a Hebrew just because of all of the lies and things that has come out, and because of, how can I say, the history of misinformation that you guys have been given about who was the true chosen people that's coming out right in front of you guys. They literally brainwash you guys to hate us. So I have hate coming from being black, Hebrew, Haitian, and all types of stuff. And I still seem to show love here. And that's what I asked you to do. So you kind of struck a nerve, because I don't like that, but I have respect for everyone. So have respect for my people. If they call Hebrew Israelites, Hebrews, or whatever they are, as long as no one is acting a fool here, that's all that counts, okay? So that was my little infomercial for you guys, because I'm going to be the realest Hebrew that you ever met. I'm Levi. You haven't met a Levi like me, okay? I'm Levi that grew up around Judah, okay? Stop it. Now, back to what's going on. The family is calling out for help. They want to know what's going on. And guess who's not going to tell them? Obviously, ICE. So what they're doing is depending on the LAPD to do some type of investigation, in which we already know it's not going to happen. So they went on to Democracy Now! And they had the broadcast called "Stolen from Us." Family demands justice for Keith Porter. Black father killed by ICE officers. Let's watch this real quick, okay? We're gonna watch a few minutes of it, and then we're gonna talk about the Black Panthers. All right, put some respect on everybody's name, especially mine. My name is Miss Grace. My name is Miss Grace.
Balls and tear gas at a crowd of protesters in Minneapolis who shouted "shame, shame, shame" and "get the F out" at the agents. This comes as the state of Minnesota has sued the Trump administration in an effort to...
Let me take you out the chat real quick. You catch me on a day that we talking about Hebrews, because you sound a little distracted real quick. Let's talk about giving Keith, we're going to put you on timeout real quick. We're going to talk about giving Keith his respect, instead of you being in here talking about something that has nothing to do with the broadcast, okay? He's a distraction right now. Let's go.
To block the crackdown and the surge of agents coming into the state. The cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul are also part of the lawsuit. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announced the legal challenge Monday as Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem vowed to deploy hundreds more agents this week.
Deployment of thousands of armed, masked DHS agents to Minnesota has done our state serious harm. This is, in essence, a federal invasion of the Twin Cities and Minnesota, and it must stop. DHS agents have sown chaos and terror across the metropolitan area and in cities across the state of Minnesota.
Minnesota's lawsuit was filed shortly after Illinois and the city of Chicago also sued the Trump administration, accusing DHS of terrorizing its residents in a, quote, organized bombardment.
Let's see if we can get to where mom is at real quick. Give me 1 second, guys.
Across Minnesota carrying...
If y'all don't see, I'm a little bit sensitive about my status as a Hebrew. It's been not easy for me to know who I am as a Hebrew and to conjugate with everybody else in their beliefs, their practices, their religions, and then I don't put it on them. So I really don't appreciate no one coming in the chat to come and say who I am, what I do, because there's a lot that I can say about a lot of you guys, especially no matter what color you are, practicing Christians. You say you believe in Jesus Christ and you don't behave like Jesus Christ. Okay? So just to let y'all know, I really don't like that. Please have respect for everyone, because we're coming from different creeds. I'm not here shoving the Bible down nobody's mouth, because this is not the broadcast for that. But when we do have broadcasts for that, we will talk about it. Okay, guys? Let's see if we can hear from his mother.
43-year-old father of two was fatally shot by an off-duty ICE agent on New Year's Eve. His family's urging transparency in the investigation into his killing. Porter's mother, Franciola Armstrong, spoke at vigil this weekend.
The day one that he was born, I knew he was my joy. When he came around, people looked for him. He was a joy to be around. My son, the biggest heart, sympathetic, appreciative, so much gratitude.
On Keith Porter Jr.'s fatal shooting New Year's Eve, we're joined by two guests. In Compton, California, Janae Tyler is the cousin of Keith Porter Jr. She is the parent and family organizer for Students Deserve, and she's a Black Lives Matter Los Angeles member. And in Los Angeles,
there we go. We got the Black Panthers up. Y'all keep being in the comment. I'm gonna talk to y'all about who Hebrews are, Kim, and it's nothing made up, baby, because the term Hebrew came from the tribe of Judah just before the split. You need to go do some research. The name has been derived originally from the Israelites, which came from the tribe of Israel, and who got turned into Israel. We're not going to make this a Bible session because you don't know the Bible. The name has mutated, and Hebrew was the last known name that Judah used before our descendants, which was shipped off by Babylon. So please know your history, because you're probably practicing Christianity right now and you're missing a lot of the books. Do some research. It's a bloodline thing. We already proven E1B1, and you probably have that same bloodline. Please go research. There's a reason why Netanyahu is not allowing them to do their genetic testing out there. We fit the book. You may not want to believe it, but it's been done. If you listen to our many Hebrew brothers, not just one, and then you read and you learn, put it together. Don't be, have that gang mentality. But when you go and teach yourself and you let the Holy Spirit guide you, you're going to realize who you are. But you're a lost person right now. So never disrespect what we are, okay? Because it's not a race. It's a ethnicity. It's a bloodline. It's who we are. It's how we live. Anybody who know me, even my mom that knows me, I live like a Hebrew. Very satisfied in just being where I am. I don't need to go out and do anything. Just read my Bible, practice, try to treat people as good as possible, try to be forgiving. That's what being a Hebrew is. That's what being a child of God is, despite the names. That's why there's so many different people of ethnicities that I actually can connect to, because it's about the heart. Okay? So please, don't disrespect us, because at the end of the day, once y'all finish listening to Candice Owens and she ripped the top off of it and realized that she Judah, then y'all gonna wake up. Then y'all gonna be all in the Hebrew tribes teaching to try to figure out what is what. But I'm gonna ask you guys to read the books for yourself and read the lost books for yourself, okay? Please don't go listen to just a pastor or just anyone. Read the book for yourself. I did not make this religion, but I know a lot of people are just lost. And once you hear Hebrew Israelite, we're kind of just like the KKK. But at the end of the day, God knows who we are. That's why we practice the way we practice, with peace. Most of us are very peaceful. Okay, very giving, very united. No matter what color you are, as long as you don't disrespect us. If you know a true Hebrew. Okay? Now, back to Judah. Because this is Judah. This is the lost tribe of Judah that's right now about to stand up. And I pray that with them moving and they show white America how to do things, that y'all guys will slow down from 2 steps from being under the Insurrection Act. If we keep going the way that the Trumpsters are going, we're going to be under the Insurrection Act. But we're gonna watch the Black Panthers too. But I want y'all to listen to their interview a little bit because they keep throwing me off with these stupid comments at the
California
bottom.
State University, Los Angeles. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Melina, Villa, let's begin with you. What do you understand happened on New Year's Eve when Porter was killed by an off-duty ICE officer with his ICE weapon?
I love her.
Yes, thanks for covering this, Amy. It's really important
I love Amy.
to understand
I
that
do.
as people are righteously and rightfully enraged and mourning the murder of Renee Good, that we also lift up Keith Porter Jr. Keith Porter Jr. was a 43-year-old black father of 2 girls. On New Year's Eve, he was celebrating at his own home, and like thousands around the country, we understand that he may have stepped outside of his home and fired a celebratory shot in the air, which many people do and which is widely acknowledged by city officials. His apartment complex is fairly large, and an ICE agent lived in that complex who went inside, put on his tactical gear, came back outside and shot Keith Porter dead in front of his own home.
Okay. So this is different. Now you hear the story change a little bit now. What we heard before, when I read the article, that's why I read it really slow and people got annoyed. They said in the article that he came around the corner, said he was ICE officer, and shot him, then went back up and went to go get his tactical gear because he knew he needed protection. But now, this sounds a little bit different. Here go the story changing up.
And Melina, the LAPD and the LA County District Attorney's Office has said they're investigating the incident. What do you know about their investigation? And of course, this could take quite a bit of time to resolve.
Yeah, what we know is nothing is happening, and the community has been told nothing. The family has been told nothing. There's not been a word uttered by the mayor of the city. Almost no elected official here has said anything. We know that we've been demanding the name of the ICE agent who killed Keith Porter. We've gotten nothing. We've demanded an arrest. An arrest has not been made. We've made demands of the district attorney that charges be filed. He basically said he doesn't intend to do anything. And so the community is going to have to mobilize. We've been mobilized since day one, but we're going to...
Now let's watch who's getting mobilized, guys. And I'm sorry for the distraction. I'll be back on task. I promise you guys, I won't let anyone in the audience with their crazy nonsense come and distract the broadcast unless that's what we're talking about. Now, we got the Black Panthers out there doing their thing. Shout out to you, Simon. Guess what? There's no Christian in the Bible. And guess what? When Jesus was born, his name, it wasn't no J. And Ken, how do you figure I'm not a Hebrew? Where's your facts? Who are you? Now, let's move on to the Black Panthers. Let's go. I guess I'm going to have to mess with y'all in the audience today.
Let's check this out. You know, me and the comrades out here in Northeast Philly, you know why we're here? Because we was told ICE was hopping on the people over here. Over at the Brazilian bakery and over here in the neighborhood. Now, yeah, we came out here and we see like them Sprinter vans parked and all these blacked out vehicles parked. But it's like maybe they in their hotels getting some sleep or something. Or maybe they knew that the Black Panther Party was coming, you know? Like I said before, and like I say it again, and like Huey Newton said back in the day, the Black Panther Party is an internationalist group. So we stand with all oppressed people no matter what your ethnic background is, no matter what your cultural background is. We stand with all oppressed people. So a war on the immigrants of the United States of America is a war on everybody in America.
Thank you.
A war on people who just came here, or even people who've been here for a while and couldn't get their green card for whatever reason. See,
let me ask you a question. Acts 11:26 is the New Testament. Did Jesus call his disciples Christians, or is that what these new saints call y'all? Huh? Because that's where you get it messed up. You guys are stuck in the New Testament where that's all saint, and that's not even Jesus Christ talking or God. And God is all in the First Testament, the Old Testament. So that's that right there. you kind of got to take it for a grain of salt. But I do like the New Testament. I'm not like the old Hebrews. I do like the New Testament, but I try to figure out who is Jesus Christ, the person, and what he does, not what these people want him to be. Because you know that the Council of Nicaea actually rewrote the whole Bible, not rewrote, but picked out what was supposed to be there for you guys to have. Do you know what I'm talking about? So you can't be well rounded if you don't go outside of the book that you know is missing chapters. Okay, and then you don't want to acknowledge the Old Testament. So, I just had to throw that out there just a little bit. Now, the Panthers are back. And we're going to move on because they're coming pretty hard. I'm just going to be honest. They're coming a little bit hard, and people need to keep their eye on it because they have a message. They have a message for ICE, and they're not taking any stuff. Hold on. What happened to the other one? Oh, the other one was real good. Hold on. This is them in training. So they're training people how to deal with ICE. And that's what I think you guys should be doing. I'm going to be honest. My people who are going against what's going on, I really love it. But black people are not participating because we know that's not the right way. I'm showing you this as a Hebrew woman, a child of God, to show you that it's a better way, because the way that we're going, we're rushing the times. We're rushing the times. And all I'm trying to do is just either we're going to slow down the times or we're going to save some souls. So what they're doing right here is actually teaching people how to have interaction, not hand-to-hand combat.
See how I'm trying to put your hands out like this, and I want you to interlock your hands right here on the diaphragm.
But how to, stay in your guard.
Like hit right here. Feel that hitting your lung, right? So that's where you're gonna put your thumb, the other hand like that. Your right hands are in plain sight, right? Now this might seem unnecessary to you, right? But if they say put your hands where I can see them, if you put your hands like this, if you clench them like that, your hands are where they can see them. Your hands are closed together, so there's no possibility that you have anything in your hand that can harm them. And your hands are locked, so you're not reaching anywhere, so they can't say you reach anywhere. Want to know something else interesting that you won't learn in a lot of places? Their body cam has to sit on their diaphragm for most police officers, most police agencies. If you put your hands right here, your hands are level with their diaphragm, with their camera. Your hands are the side of their camera the whole time. So any escalation at that point on their behalf has to be based on a physical threat. If your hands are what you're going to grab the gun with your foot, if your hands are right here, there's no way you were going for a weapon. There's no way.
Now you see how that makes sense? Now this is what I like. I'm going to finish off this live like this because we got a little mixed up today because we had some naysayers in the audience. But this is what I wanted to show you, because I know y'all thought like we was about to say, oh, the Black Panthers is back. Oh, they are back, and they are walking nice and armed, but they're showing the community how to de-escalate things, how to protect themselves, how to lawfully get things on footage to show that you're in the right position when these officers do something to you. Let's watch this last footage. Shout out to the Panthers. Thought they was going to come out there acting like a damn fool. Hell no. We got a plan, baby. I think y'all need to listen. I think you need to listen. Let's watch this. Hold on. Where the volume at real quick? Thank you for being here.
Safe line repair, safe line replace. That's what's going to happen. They touched me. Unarmed woman was killed by ICE. If you think you're about to come and brutalize the people while we're standing here, fuck around and find out. Our interactions with the police and ICE, and we hold them accountable. We hold them accountable. We patrol the community and we hold them accountable. The Black Panther Party for self-defense, we're the same Panther Party from back in the day, but we're a little more aggressive now, you dig? Carry bigger guns and we don't take no shit. Places where there are a lot of immigrants at, I think that the community around them needs to take special care to them and needs to start escorting them to and from everywhere to make sure that they're safe. Because them ICE agents ain't going to act like that if it's a bunch of people standing outside with assault rifles and shotguns. It's a semi-automatic shotgun. That means some shotgun shells that shoot out of a pump, they shoot them rapidly. If you are going to legally arm yourself with something bigger than what they got. Those who serve in the public, they should be fearful of the public. They should be fearful that the public's going to be dissatisfied with their job that they're doing, not feeling like they're top.
I think they just waked up the Huey P. Newtons, and I'm not saying go down there and just have your guns all over the place and acting crazy, but you do have to know your rights at the end of the day, because you never know. They may be knocking on a door near you. So with that goes to say, I've been here for over an hour. We kind of chopped it up just a little bit. I want to say thank you so much for being with us. Hopefully one day I'll do a live on me being a Hebrew. If y'all want me to come back and do a special live about that, we can talk about that. I think people have a lot of mixed feelings about Hebrew Israelites right now. That's why a lot of us are quiet, because we're trying to let the mass unravel on you guys. First and foremost, white America don't know who Israel is. Obviously, Charlie Kirk is waking their ass up. Second of all, black America don't know who they are. Even a regular person know African American is an oxymoron. That's just not true. Being black is not a nationality. It is not connected to a nation, and that should make you seek to figure out who you are. And that's what made me seek to figure out what was my nationality, what was my bloodline. Again, Hebrew is not a religion. It was never taught to be religion. The Hebrews, which are the original Israelites, Israel, were given a special covenant to behave a certain way, live a certain way, teach a certain way. And that's what I'm here to do. It's not about calling a name or being this or being that, but it's going to show you righteousness against the BS. So uplift what you want to, but you're going to see who walks in the Christ consciousness. So no matter what the naysayers say, how disrespectful they come, we're going to get our recompense. Shout out to the Hebrews. I see you guys. Y'all really quiet. The big content creators, I'm watching you guys. Y'all letting, what's her name, Candice Owens, kind of blow the top off. We trying to figure out if she's going to ever come out and realize she Judah, because she directly calling the synagogue of Satan out. These type of things. We're in rare times, but again, I said living with the name as a Hebrew, and y'all connect as Hebrew Israelite, which is not, is an oxy. It's not that. It's not that. That's something y'all put together. It's like being called a KKK. That's why I live by myself, I practice by myself, and I keep the book right here close to myself. And that's what you guys should do. So until then, I'll see you guys possibly Sunday. And let's do it like this. Let's walk off with my Maya. Y'all know what we do.